This news update is brought to you by
I won for me to me.
For me?
You don't need speakers, right?
Upgrade to win every week with Lime. Sign up for Lime TV or broadband or purchase an iPhone 6 or Samsung Note 4. Upgrade Christmas with Lime.
It's Wednesday, December the 17th, 2014, and this is the Barbados Today Morning News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the Urban and Rural Development Commissions and the National Housing Corporation will be the first state-owned enterprises to be reformed by government in the coming months. In a ministerial statement in Parliament yesterday, Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair announced that these agencies are among those in the first round which will undergo changes to their core functions. Sinclair identified the National Sports Council, the Gymnasium, Kensington Oval Management Inc., the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., Needham's Point Development Inc., Needham's Point Management Inc., and the Hotel and Resorts Limited as the others being reformed in round one.
In relation to this initiative, there will be full consultation with the social partners, particularly the workers' representatives, so as to ensure that we have an orderly implementation of the process. Equally, I feel obliged to make it clear that while with the passage of time there will be some level of attrition as to be expected, contrary to recent media reports, there will be no widespread mass retrenchment of workers in these organizations. In addition to these, as would have been indicated by various ministers through a series of policy statements, government has also decided to work more closely with the private sector in forging strategic partnerships to assist the delivery of particular social and economic services to the public. In the coming months, it is government's hope to examine the possibilities of similar public-private sector collaboration in government's operations in tourism services through the caves of Barbados and in international transport in auxiliary services.
Minister Sinclair also disclosed that government has signed an exploration license with the international oil giant BHP Billiton to begin the search for petroleum and gas offshore.
These prospects look exceedingly promising, and the Right Honourable Prime Minister, in his capacity as Minister of Energy, will make a public announcement shortly on this matter as he and the principals of the said company sign the formal documents at a public event. With the new strategic offshore oil exploration policy framework in place, it is expected that within the coming months, other similar licenses will be signed following the appropriate tendering process.
Small and medium-sized enterprises in Barbados now have access to a $70 million Barbados loan fund that's aimed at boosting productivity in this sector. The loan facility, made possible through the Inter-American Development Bank, will be executed by the Central Bank of Barbados in collaboration with financial institutions and SMEs. The Enhanced Access to Credit for Productivity program, as it's called, will contribute to increased productivity by providing a guarantee mechanism to promote investment projects, facilitating SMEs access to medium and long-term credit, and will assist companies with upgrades to their business models. The Barbados Fire Service is expressing concern about what it calls numerous emergencies to which its officers have been summoned. In his Christmas message on safety, Acting Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard was particularly worried about the spate of house fires recorded this year so far. Maynard said that last year, 80 house fires were recorded compared to 93 year-to-date. That's an increase of 16.25%. He said this increase brings with it renewed concerns that the message of fire safety urgently needs to reach every alley, avenue, terrace, village, development, and community across Barbados. Maynard is therefore warning homeowners not to cook if fatigued or under the influence of any legal or illegal substance. And for store owners, the message is Don't overcrowd your stores just for the sake of making profit.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
We're back with news from our neighbors that Trinidadians are getting a government gift for Christmas. Prime Minister Kamala Prasad-Bissessar says she considers it her gift as well, that consumers will now have to pay less for flour, rice and oil. She says despite criticism about her government spending, she will not turn her back on the most needy during this holiday season.
You remember that special discounts have been arranged for rice and flour and oil at our special religious holidays. We must continue to reach out to those who are less fortunate. I have been criticized for it, but then so be it. I can live with that. I have a very thick skin because I do the right thing, because it is the right thing to do. I will not turn my back on the less fortunate, and so I announce that for Christmas, as we did for Eid and Diwali, you will get special discounts on rice, flour and oil at Christmas time.
The St. Lucia government wants Britain to know that it will not be held ransom over the status of the death penalty in the Caribbean country. National Security Minister Victor Lacordaire told the British government in no uncertain terms that St. Lucia would not abolish its death penalty as a condition for London's assistance in a local murder case.
National Security Minister Victor Lacordaire says St. Lucia will make its own decision about the abolition of the death penalty and will not be mandated by the British to do so. In response to a request for assistance from the St. Lucian government on the issue of the Go-Bar murder investigation, the British government indicated that it would be willing to help on condition that the death penalty would not be handed down to those found guilty. St. Lucia did not accept the condition, and the minister says the country will not be swayed by the decisions and policies of the British or the wider European Union.
We will determine whether or not we abolish the death penalty, and my government is on record as indicating that we are not at this moment going to consider the abolition of the death penalty. So that is definitely out.
The minister sought to clear the air about the present state of relations between the British and St. Lucia. He says the lines of communication remain open and discussions are continuing.
On the international scene now, Iran says it requested 14 years ago the extradition of Manharan Moniz, the gunman behind the Sydney siege, but Australia refused to hand him over. The head of Iran's Police General Ismail Ahmadi Moghadam told reporters that Moniz was wanted for fraud at the time. He said Moniz had fled to Australia via Malaysia in the late 1990s. Moniz and two hostages were shot dead on Tuesday morning when commandos stormed the Sydney cafe where he had been holding captives for 16 hours. Meanwhile, Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott has announced that the government was investigating why Moniz was released on bail on separate charges.
How can someone who has had such a long and checkered history not be on the appropriate watch lists, and how can someone like that be entirely at large in the community? These are questions that we need to look at carefully and calmly and methodically to learn the right lessons and to act upon them. That's what we'll be doing in the days and weeks ahead.
And that's our Barbados Today morning news update. We'll be back again this afternoon. But until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 101 on Lime TV to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.
This news update is brought to you by
You got an upgrade for Christmas.
If you're feeling lucky, you could win some money.
An upgrade for Christmas.
$200,000 in cash and prizes. With Lime, you could win some money. It's Lime's Christmas lottery. 250 winners this Christmas, oh yeah.
Sign up for upgrades to super fast broadband, Lime TV, e-billing, a data plan. Top up $15. Purchase a handset or text 4263 to enter.
Upgrade for Christmas.